Alright, so Ms. Hafetz, can you begin by giving a little bit of background about yourself? I know that you completed law school in Israel, you lived in Israel, and when you got out of the army, you came to the United States and got a second law degree. And so what was it like growing up in Israel?
So basically, growing up in Israel was the same as growing up anywhere in the world, I guess. I had a regular childhood. I went to school. I had ballet classes. I had a lot of friends, and I did pretty much the same thing as every other kid would do. I decided to pursue my master's degree in law here in the U.S. because I wanted to explore more possibilities and just expand my knowledge and so on. And I guess it puts me here right now in New York, and that's about it.
I know that you are the counsel for Israel's Department of Finance, or on the council. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but can you please explain your daily routines, if you can?
Sure. So I'm the legal counsel at the Israeli Economic Commission in New York, which is basically a part of the Ministry of Finance in Jerusalem. Our daily routine is mostly about raising money for the state of Israel through issuance of securities, mostly bonds in the free market or through the bonds organization. So you may say that I'm handling all the Israeli debt here in the U.S. And all the legal aspects of issuing debt here in the U.S. That's basically it.
I've been researching the Israeli-Palestinian conflict for several weeks now, and I would love to hear some of your opinions on it. I know that the conflict is basically over a line in the sand, and since 1967, Palestine has wanted their pre-1948 borders back. In your opinion, can this ever happen? And would Israel be safe if this ever happened?
The conflict is about a lot of things. It's not just a line in the sand. I think it's about culture differences and religion and a lot of history that is involved in it. And I believe that it's a conflict that has been going for such a long time that I am not sure that withdrawing to the 67 borderline or the 48 borderlines will solve it in a way. I think that it might be a good approach to think about going back to the old territories, but I do believe that withdrawing would still allow extremists to do their violence acts. So even if we were to go back to the 67 lines and Jordan will be just next to Jerusalem and there will be no actual borderline there, I think that we'll have this constant fear of another war approaching. And I do believe that we will have peace at the end, but I think it will take a long time to do that, and we'll have to secure our borders very well in order to do that. We'll have to feel safe in order to have peace.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And in your opinion, do you think that there will ever be a resolution to the conflict? Can Palestine ever negotiate peace with Israel? And should other countries outside of Israel, inclusive to the UN, get involved?
I do want to remain optimistic about the possibilities of having peace. Negotiation of peace is very difficult because of all the emotions that are involved and the existence of extremists on both sides. I do believe that help from the U.S. or other nations, and especially the UN, would do. It would be very helpful to have them around, because negotiation directly is close to impossible. We would also have to guarantee our safety in the new borderline, and we will only be able to do that with the help of the UN and the help of the United States, both financially and through other methods such as sending troops and sending objective personnel over to supervise such an agreement.
Mhm.
That's how I see it.
Thank you. And do you feel that the U.S.'s current administration has been a friend to Israel, as past administrations have?
Generally speaking, my answer would be no. I think that prior administration were much pro-Israel, not only in the sense of the Palestinian and Israeli conflict, but also in other aspects such as the Iranian conflict and the whole tension in the Middle East. And I do feel that if our Prime Minister, the Israeli Prime Minister, would have felt as close to the current administration as former Prime Ministers felt, he would have more confidence in walking into some kind of negotiation, knowing that he has this support but I mean that's it basically.
Yeah. And so what does peace, I mean, like the word peace, really mean to the Israelis, and what does it mean to the Palestinians, or the Arabs in general, you could say?
I think that when you're trying to explain the perception of peace, you could only really do it from your side of I mean, I can't speak for the Palestinians because it's really a matter of perception. When I was little, I went to the Scouts, and we discussed the terms of what is a good Israeli. And the girls, 10-year-old girls said, a good Israeli is one who supports his children, who is a nice person, who is good to his wife, who is having a job. This is what a good Israeli to them. And then she asked us, what is a good Palestinian? And everyone said, someone who doesn't hurt us, someone who doesn't turn on explosives, someone who doesn't participate in terror attacks. And then she asked us again, what would you think that a Palestinian woman would answer the same question? And we then understood that it's just a matter of perception. The way that we look at things is completely different than the way they look at things. But if you would still ask me that question, I'd say that peace for an Israeli person would be just to do his routine, his daily routine, without interruption. Whether it's the economic process, whether it's going to work and not being afraid that tomorrow war would start and would change everything. But for a Palestinian, I think it's about not being occupied anymore and having a life of its own and having independence and having a normal family life. And I think it's completely different, and I think their interests should be much more serious than the Israelis who has their lives in a way. But again, it's a matter of perception, so I don't want to speak on their behalf.
All right. So does the average Israeli always keep this conflict in the back of their minds, or can they plan ahead and think beyond it?
Surprisingly enough, I think that the average Israeli doesn't think about it on a daily basis. I think, in a way, we're trying to be indifferent to it. We're trying not to think about it. We're trying to just do our daily routine as anyone else in the world. It is in the back of our mind, but I don't think it bothers us. I think that we're just doing our thing. And even when we read the paper in Israel, we would much rather read about something in the economic field and to see how Israel is doing in terms of growth and financial stability. And we probably wouldn't read about how the army is handling the last conflict. I guess it's a matter of having less control over it. So if you don't have any control over it and you think it's something that will take years to fix, you just take a step back and hope for the best. So that's basically my answer.
Thank you. And so last question, I'm 14 years old, sorry, and I have many dreams and visions of what I think I would like to do in my life. Does a 14-year-old boy in Israel have the same dreams as I have, or does he worry about where he will be in the future?
I think that the only major difference between yourself and a 14 years old in Israel would be knowing that in 4 years from now you'll have to go to the army and you're not sure how it's going to be and whether or not you're going to participate in a combat or will there be a war or something like that. But other than the fact that you'll have the army in Israel, everything else is the same. 14 years old is as much interested in sports and school and girls and everything, I guess very similar to you. And he also have his ambitions and dreams and would want to go to school and then to travel around the world. And in a way, he may even be more excited about exploring his options than the average American, because Israel is so small and because he would want to see other things and learn other languages. But I think you will find a lot of similarities between you and the average Israeli. I'm not sure that I could say the same about the average Palestinian kid because his resources are very limited. But I hope he has the same dreams, or at least he shares similar dreams to yours.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Sure. Good luck.